Your early morning update here on Forever United TV. All things Manchester United, getting you set for your day. And boom, have we got a big one to start your day today. Scott McTominay agreeing terms with Galatasaray, but will Fulham actually come back in with another bid now? Are Galatasaray forcing Fulham's arm in this situation right now? Why is Ten Hag letting go of a player that he said he wants to keep and he has used throughout his time at Manchester United? Is it because there's a replacement lined up? Yes, there's that name again, Mr Adrian Rabiot. And what Manchester United are actually negotiating with him. It's one in, it's one out. It will not affect Agate, so don't worry about that. It's an extra for Manchester United. Are you happy? Here we go with not one, but two 16-year-old academy prospects at the top of their game in Lascelles and Obi Martin. Loads of details on them, how these deals have actually happened, the future of Manchester United being looking fantastic at the moment. Big involvement from Ruud van Nistelrooy, especially on the Obi Martin deal as well. Loads of details, loads of information to get through, guys. It deserves a big fat like at the start of the show, of course. I'm going to go for 1,000 likes. I think everyone's excited this morning because this feels like it's got one of them transfer days, one of them bonanzas going on right now. So give the video a like. Let's get 1,000 in. Can we do it? Come on, Maz. Let's get into it. And of course, this is all free content, guys. So that 50% of you that hasn't subscribed, who watch the channel constantly, you might as well hit that subscribe button as well. And let's get going into the show. We need to be quick because there is so much to get through this morning. Absolutely craziness with Manchester United right now. And let's get straight in. The important news, obviously, Mr. Scott McTominay. First name out of the box today. It has to be Scott. He's going, he's not going. He's happy to stay. Ten Hag wants him. United happy to leave with the right bid coming in. We've talked about everything going on right now, but two reports from separate people from Turkey have come in overnight. First one reading, Scott McTominay has agreed personal terms with Galatasaray on a 5-year contract at, get this, near on €105,000 a week. Negotiations have been ongoing with Manchester United for a long time. We know that for definite. Erik ten Hag's decision will be the one with the most decisive points for this deal. I'll talk about that in a second. Galatasaray have reached an agreement with personal terms with Scott McTominay. They have convinced the player to move to Turkey. Negotiations continue between Galatasaray and Manchester United. They're the two reports coming out from Turkey. That's from Haluk Yurakeli. He's massive following over there. This is all from the Turkish side of things. I will make that clear, guys, as well. And the other account is come from Emre Kaplan as well. Another big account over there in Turkey. When they want a player, when they think they've got a player, you usually get all guns blazing, everything happening from their side of things. Let's just remember, this doesn't come from anyone from the England side of things or United side of anything like that or any reports in England. This is all from the Turkey side. They feel like the deal is done. Scott McTominay was a stumbling block for Galatasaray 2 weeks ago simply because of his wage demands. There was some stupid story saying that he wanted 160 grand a week. Well, no. It looks like there's an agreement in place. 5.5 million euros a year, which works out around about 105,000 euros a week. If you want to break it down into English pounds, Scott McTominay earning 30 grand more a week pounds than he would at Manchester United. So check that out. Is that why this is happening? There's loads of different ways you can look at Scott McTominay. He isn't going to get a bumper new deal at Manchester United. Whether he stays or he doesn't, you could have next season, you could have this season coming and next season Scott still be here and he sees out his contract. If United want to trigger that 1 year extension, that is, if he's not sold this summer, United won't offer Scott McTominay anywhere near 90 to 100 grand a week. You've got no chance of that happening, I don't feel. Especially not for a squad player. Galatasaray offering 90 grand a week is definitely why I think Scott McTominay is possibly, and how the Turkish are saying it, is happy to move to Istanbul. I just feel like right now they've just offered him a deal that financially I think he's happy with for his last big move. last big move like he's moved anywhere else. He's been at United all his career, but Scott McTominay, 90 grand a week at United, I can't see that happening. Galatasaray, yes. Fulham, on the other hand, I'm not sure what they would offer him a week, whether they can afford that or not. Does Scott want to stay in England? Does he want to try something new? This is what we're talking about when I was over in London, when I got told that Scott McTominay, if the right offer comes in, he's happy to go if the club want to move him on. So Scott's happy with that deal. He's happy to move to Galatasaray. So what about Manchester United? What about Ten Hag? How does he see this deal? Because we had stories the other day talking about Ten Hag actually being happy with Scott McTominay and keeping him at the football club. An essential part of Manchester United moving forward. And he's going to play a big role for Ten Hag, obviously. That's what Ten Hag was saying. You knew this was coming because he's used him consistently over his 2 years at Manchester United. Every manager loves Scott McTominay. Everyone loves him, and I feel like, yes, he will contribute again this season if he's still at Manchester United, off the bench, that is. But if there is somebody coming in that will replace Scott McTominay, i.e. for nothing, and he's probably better than Scott McTominay, in the likes and the name of Adrian Rabiot, then maybe Ten Hag, who wants Rabiot and has clearly wanted him for 2 years and never been able to get him, maybe that is why Ten Hag is happy to let Scott McTominay go. The big thing you've got with this, so if Scott McTominay's happy, Erik Ten Hag is happy, that all looks good and well. But what about the club? What about the price? What about, yes, Galatasaray have agreed personal terms. We know this, Manchester United ourselves. Obviously, this is how football works in the transfer market. We've agreed personal terms with plenty of players this summer. It doesn't necessarily mean you get the bleeding player, because the club and the price has to be acceptable. Galatasaray, whether or not they feel like they have now got one up on, say, Fulham, or are in a comfortable position to them negotiate with Manchester United, is this why we got that ridiculous bid story coming out yesterday that they've bid €15 million for Scott McTominay? United won't accept that bid. They've already turned down 17 million from Fulham. So Galatasaray are going to have to figure out how they, and we all know how it works. When we did the story the other day, Galatasaray look at it and the president came out and said it's the package, it's the wages, and then it's the actual fee, the transfer fee. So when you look at the transfer fee, when you look at the wages, we know the wages are now in place for Galatasaray, and now they can just play around with their bids and what they want to pay. They're going to have to go upwards of 20 million euros to even come into the reckoning of this. Fulham, all Fulham have to do is go, bang, there you go, there's another 5, 10 million, whatever it's going to be. Scott McTominay for 25 million. I think United will take that money, because that just gives them so much freedom for this transfer window as well. 100% profit, being an academy player, and United have a lot of manoeuvre room with that money coming in. That would be 27 million for Greenwood, 10 million for Cambuella, and 25 million for Scott McTominay. All 100% academy homegrown profit for the football club. Goes a long way in a transfer window when you're a bit skint. So you look at that and you go, yes, this can definitely happen. Scott McTominay, if United get the deal that they want, Scott's happy to go. Ten Hag's happy to let him go, because, I'm moving on to the next story now, and we don't know if Fulham have come back in yet. The rumours are Fulham coming in back for Scott McTominay, so this could develop even more. This could force Fulham back into the equation, because we got a here we go yesterday on Emile Smith-Rowe for Fulham. That's done, and now they're looking to go back in for Scott McTominay. So we'll see what happens with Fulham on this past this point. But for Ten Hag and Manchester United moving forward in terms of replacements, because we are lacking in numbers in midfield. Let's not forget, we're already one man down in Amrabat. Yes, we talked about Toby Collier coming through, and that's another player in the matchday squad. But if Scott goes, and we talked yesterday about Adrian Rabiot and whether he's going to be happy or not on the bench at Manchester United. The story from Caught Offside again, who ran the whole Rabiot story yesterday, reads this, that Manchester United are working to negotiate a contract for Adrian Rabiot worth 130 to 145 grand a week, plus a signing bonus. Now, we were laughing yesterday, we were discussing whether or not Rabiot was a serious target or not. You don't get story after story after story coming in if United are not actually communicating. You only have to put all of the last 2 years together, and you know that Manchester United are interested in Rabiot. You know United need midfielders, you know we need experienced midfielders. If we're going to lose Scott McTominay anyway, taking that money in. Look, Scott McTominay helps us buy Agate, and you bring Rabiot in as well to fill Scott McTominay's void. If Rabiot is happy to be on the bench. 130 grand a week. I said this yesterday, not thinking that it would be serious, but if he is willing to accept that wage, and I think a lot of Manchester United fans would say that's a good deal. That is a good deal. Signing on bonus, whatever that would be, I don't know, but 25 for Scott. Rabiot comes in for free. That 25 million can be split in between where they need to send it, whether it's for getting De Ligt and Mazraoui over the line, whether we manage to get this Agate deal on loan or not. United could... It's like everyone who was slagging Ineos off and the way that this could work out. And I know it's all ifs, buts and maybes at the moment, but you can see how things are really developing in this transfer window now. Rabiot, 130, let's just round it up, 140 grand a week. He sits in and replaces Scott McTominay as a squad player because, like we said yesterday, he doesn't come in ahead of Bruno. He's played at 10 before. He mainly plays at number 8, Rabiot. He's not going to take Kobbie Mainoo's place, and he's definitely not going to sit in that holding role, but could cover all 3 of them positions when needed with masses and masses of experience, better on the ball, strong, just as good, if not, he's better. He's better than Scott McTominay. Like, obviously, I am not fully on board with Rabiot as a player simply because I was always scared that he was going to be the only midfielder we brought in. If he's replacing Scott McTominay and United are still going for Agate, you have to say that is not bad business. No matter who you are and how much of an opinion you've got on Rabiot, his mum, what he's like, what sort of attitude he brings to the club, is it all hearsay, is it real? Well, Juventus loved him for a few years, didn't they? And he performed well for them. So really, looking at it, you have to say that's not bad business for Manchester United. You've got a replacement for nothing for Scott. You've got money for Scott, which helps us get maybe 2 other deals over the line in De Ligt and Mazraoui, and then possibly get Agate on a loan with obligation to buy. Oh, that is looking a bit juicy then, isn't it? It's getting a bit tasty. And if we do then end up, and we will get rid of Lindelof, and it looks like Wan-Bissaka is still going to go as well. You've got Palestri out of the door and Hannibal to go as well. Then United really have turned this transfer window into a... I mean, you're talking 8s and 9s out of 10 for the window then, aren't you? If you manage to get 2 midfielders in, Scott gone, Lindelof out, Wan-Bissaka out, Mazraoui in, maybe De Ligt in, Agate in as well, with everything else that we've got, you're talking absolute megas there. Like, that is one hell of a window, and it's nowhere near yet. Sorry, it sounds good, and I'm building it up, and everyone's happy before they head out to work that this is the news that's going on. There's nothing concrete about it. The concrete news around United this morning is we have just signed 2 16-year-old lads, the best that you could get at this age right now. The first one was announced last night. Here we go with Fabrizio Romano. Loads of reports coming out about this. First of all, it was done and dusted for Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. Then we heard the then we heard the stories about how big a deal Ruud van Nistelrooy was in this. Ruud van Nistelrooy was key in the Chido Obi Martin decision to join Manchester United. Van Nistelrooy spoke to the player about his development plan. So, like, the plan, development, in all of the talks that Obi Martin has been saying, he wasn't convinced that the pathway was the right one at Arsenal for him. He's been convinced by United, Van Nistelrooy, whoever else. I'm guessing Jason Wilcox was well involved in this as well. Convincing a young player. This is a guy that scored 10 goals in one game against Liverpool's academy, by the way. He is absolutely he's mustard, shit hot. The pathway to Manchester United was key for Obi Martin, who rejected a higher salary proposal from Germany to sign for United. So everybody who was saying we were jumping the gun, I thought it was a bit high to offer him 30 grand when he does turn professional. Germany and the German side of things were offering him more. Now, that tells you everything about what this kid has got. If they're offering more than what an English club is, like Arsenal, to an academy graduate, and we know that Germany doesn't pay high wages in the Bundesliga, but what they do is develop young talent on a longer-term basis on a set wage which doesn't change for a few years. Obi Martin, if he breaks through next year, for instance, he's stuck on a big contract that's not going to change for a while. So if he does turn of age, he becomes 21, he's still smashing it, and he does become the next Kylian Mbappe, quoting Sir Jim Radcliffe on this one, then he's going to be on them wages still. And you know what? If he does get to them levels, where he is an absolute superstar by the time he turns 21, 22, then United can look at him and go, right, we can offer you a lot more. because we're competing at the top level in the Champions League, and this player is worth it. Let's just put our feet firmly back on the ground here and just say this is an academy graduate who's on a scholarship. It's not a proper here we go. We can't get excited as much because he's not going to walk right into the first team. Let's make sure that the kid's feet are firmly on the ground. We integrate him into the academy. There is a prospect there with massive and massive potential. We're not going to see next season. Unless it's an absolute disaster of an injury situation at United again, but I cannot see it. So, looking good on that side of things for the future, but let's just settle in with what his role is going to be, which is in the academy first of all. Sky Sports News have just come out and said Manchester United are close to agreeing a deal with... West Ham United are close to agreeing a deal with Manchester United to sign Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Once all done, United can proceed with the move for Mazraoui. That's just something that's come up on Sky. That's just popped up on my screen now as well. I wanted to talk about the other 16-year-old who United have just signed, who is Samuel Lascelles as well, Slovakian international player. Tearing it up, very quick, very direct, very dynamic right winger. United moving pieces around and putting pieces in place to cover certain positions, I think, in the club. Like, if we are not going to go out and buy the best of the best on one side, say the left or the right-hand side of attack, we have got younger players coming through who are the best around that we can develop and bring through, and they may not even cost us. They will cost us nothing in the future, obviously, and United may not even have to spend any more money in them forward positions going into the next few years. So I can see exactly what United's plan is. I can see the attack and how they're approaching these deals. They have brought in, I think that's 5 academy players they have brought in from other football clubs now this summer alone. You can see what the plan is for Manchester United here. They have got some serious talent coming through that academy right now, and adding to it every single year. Manchester United eventually, when all of this deadwood is weaned out of the football club, are going to have a pathway for these younger players coming through. I think this is the sell with these young lads right now. 1,300 people in the room for a morning show, guys. Amazing. We've only got 250 likes, though. Can everyone just please give the video a like? Because we've got 1,300 on the 8 o'clock show, guys, watching live. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I know you're loving the news. I'll recap everything in a second. So you guys are up to date. If you have just joined the show, please give the video a like, though, guys. Let's get that up at least over 500 before we finish up. Come on, guys. Get on it, mods, as well. But, yeah, looking good. There's your pathway. That's what Ruud van Nistelrooy was doing, and that's why Obi Martin has signed for United. It's not just because of the money, because he was offered more in Germany. So let's just quash that. Let's just put that straight now. Done. Happy days. Bad news for United. Sorry, guys. Yoro on crutches with the plastic cast around his foot. You've all seen the pictures now. If you have just woken up and not seen anything yet, Ten Hag Ten Hag did not do the scheduled press conference over in LA yesterday. He got Ahmad to do the press conference, which is strange. Very strange. That never happens. I've been on 3 Ten Hag's pre-season tours. That never happens. He doesn't like doing press conferences. He doesn't like doing media duties. I know that. And he's put Ahmad in there to do the press, which is very, very strange, because there would have been a lot of questions gone Ten Hag's way, and maybe he just didn't want to deal with it. Maybe that means that there's a lot in the offing right now with Manchester United, and there's an awful lot going on that he just doesn't want to talk about. He would have been asked about Scott McTominay. He would have been asked about Yoro. He probably wouldn't have had enough information. Obviously, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Scott McTominay are over on the tour, so looking at that, you're going to have the questions on Rabiot as well, updates on all other transfers. He's probably gone, you know what, let's just give it to Ahmad. I don't want to deal with this. So, yes, you've got everything there, I feel, bubbling up nicely right now. And he just wants to concentrate on the football. Simple as that's all Ten Hag wants to do. It's all about the football and the fitness of his players. So, let's recap everything that's going on right now. Scott McTominay has agreed personal terms with Galatasaray. This is a report coming from 2 different sources over in Turkey. Quite big sources as well. Whether they're reliable or not, you get followings because of stories that you put out, and you're reliability within reporting in the sports media world. Both of these have said that Scott McTominay has agreed a deal around 90 grand a week, so 105,000 euros a week, Scott McTominay. I've been told personally that Scott will go if the clubs say they are moving him on and is a decent deal on the table for him elsewhere. He's open to moving no matter what Manchester United says. If the right deal comes in for United and the price is everything now, he will be sold. He's happy to move. He's not going to stand in the club's way or want to play out the last years of his contract. He's got one big move left in him and he's happy to go to Galatasaray. He said the clubs can negotiate the price right now. Ten Hag has always been known to wanting to keep Scott McTominay and not wanting to get rid of him. But Manchester United are reportedly negotiating a deal for Adrian Rabiot of around about 140 grand a week with a sign-on bonus as well, which is huge, which is what convinces Ten Hag to let Scott McTominay go. 2 of the 3 pieces in this puzzle that needed to be completed, or stages that needed to be completed in this deal, are done. As in, we've got a replacement that Ten Hag is happy with. Scott McTominay is happy to leave and agreed personal terms. The only thing now is the fee. That's all we're waiting for. Can someone match Manchester United's valuation of Scott McTominay? Why would they sell Scott McTominay? Simply because this will help Manchester United possibly get deals done elsewhere. That bit more that they need to get Mazraoui over the line. That bit that they need to get De Ligt over the line. If they can then go out and get a Gatti on loan, which they are negotiating, whether or not that will happen or not, I'm not saying it is or it isn't. It could, is always saying. Then United have pulled off one hell of a transfer window. And I don't think there's anyone who can complain. I don't think there's anyone who can complain about Manchester United's business in this transfer window so far. If this happens, if buts, maybes, yes, we're at that stage now where this could go either way. But United have done work and groundwork to have players in to replace certain players, targets in to replace targets we don't get. We're bringing in young academy players. We've just signed Manuel Lascelles and we signed Obi Martin, the Slovakian winger on the right wing, Lascelles from Crystal Palace, and obviously Obi Martin from Arsenal, which has been well documented. We got the here we go last night. You don't get a here we go unless for a 16-year-old academy player who's not going to play in the first team for possibly 2 years unless he's got something about him. Obi Martin has. Same with Lascelles as well from Crystal Palace. 2 players there ready to be developed. And within 2 years, I don't know, will Rashford be here? Will Bruno be here? Will Sancho be here? Will any of these players that everyone's moaning about and complaining about at Manchester United even be here? One thing you will know is that Manchester United have got young academy players, the best of the best, coming through to replace these players. So maybe in years to come, United won't have to spend a lot of money. That's where United are at right now with the process, the pathway, and that's what's convinced the likes of Lascelles and Obi Martin to come to Manchester United. I'll say it again, just so you guys are clear. Germany and the Bundesliga offered Obi Martin more than what United are offering him. United got this deal done and convinced the player to come because of the pathway and his possibility of breaking into the first team. Well done, Jason Wilcox. Well done, Ruud van Nistelrooy. And well done, Manchester United, for getting these players in. It may not seem like the big deal now, but what you should be happy about being a Manchester United fan right now is this football club acting in a way where it's not just about the now. It's the now and the future of this football club. We are negotiating deals for transfer windows years down the line here, it seems. By getting these young players in, we don't have to go out desperately into the market. Look what you've got coming through, seriously. You've got Wheatley up front, you've got Amas at left back, you've got Collier in midfield. You've got Lacey not even on the scene yet coming through. We've not even seen Mavor, who was smashing it in the under-21s last season. You've just added 5 other academy players to that academy squad this summer alone, including the last 2 in Lascelles and Obi Martin, with bags and bags of talent. Absolute amazing work from Manchester United. And as a United fan, I am absolutely made up with what Manchester United have done in this transfer window. It has been a breath of fresh air, how we've attacked it and how in such a short space of time we are getting things done. Yep, it's great. It's fantastic. Rabiot's not done. McTominay's not left. We're just reporting on them right now. Sad that Yoro's got an injury. I'm gutted about that. But it just means that Manchester United really have to push forward. From the German side, quickly before we finish up, is the deal for Tar from Bayer Leverkusen is solely reliant on Matthias de Ligt leaving. So United again holding firm and making sure that they're not buckling and not giving way to Bayern Munich when it comes to Matthias de Ligt at all. They want him and they will wait it out. Same as it's always been. De Ligt doesn't want to go anywhere else. But like I said before, deals like McTominay are being done. Aaron Wan-Bissaka being done, as Sky reported this morning. Very close now with West Ham. Manchester United are in a very, very strong position. They've sold academy players this summer, which is 100% profit. If Scott McTominay is added to that, then we are on for one hell of a summer. And Rabiot, 130, 140 grand a week. Is that okay? That does not seem bad, and I think that's a convincer for a lot of Manchester United fans as well. Massive, massive news today, guys. We are going to give you another show at 1 o'clock live, where we're going to go into even more detail on everything going on today. This is your full-on update show. It's gone longer than what I usually do. We usually do about 20 minutes, but there was that much to get through. Absolutely buzzing with all you guys in the chat coming in. Please give the video a like. Let's get over 500 live likes. We've got well over 1,300 people in the room with us. What we've got to do right now, let's just check my poll quickly. Over 1,200 votes. McTominay out, Rabiot in. Is that a good deal? 72% of you have said yes. We have got a super chat in from You Got Raws. Thank you, mate. Shouldn't be worried about getting Mount on the field on a regular basis before they bring in Rabiot. Shouldn't they be worried about getting Mount? Not really, because if we're getting rid of Scott McTominay, and this is why I think Rabiot is happening right now. I think Rabiot's happening simply because United are looking to move Scott on. It's a replacement. It's one player in, one player out, so I'm not worried because he can play 8 as well. So maybe we can rest Kobbie Mainoo in certain games. But yeah, guys, that is your morning update done. You're all set for your day. You're completely up to date with everything going on with Manchester United. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Fantastic numbers. Please give the video a like on the way out. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV, guys. Free content every single day. We have 3 shows a day at 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock and 6:30. Make sure that you are fully subscribed, notifications on, to make sure you're up to date with everything going on at Manchester United. I got you covered, guys. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Great show. I will see you all at 12 o'clock, not 1 o'clock. I keep saying 1 o'clock for some reason. It's at 12 o'clock. That is your next update show, where we'll have a load more detail on everything going on. Thank you, everybody. I will see you later. Have a fantastic morning.